Hello, everyone, and a warm welcome back to College to Corporate Insights Unplugged, Season 4, Episode 3. I'm your host, Parul Chaturvedi, and I'm absolutely thrilled to kick off this new episode. Thank you so much for all the incredible love and support you have shown for all our previous episodes. Your engagement fuels us, and we are ready to bring you even more deep dives into the corporate world. Today, we are happy to welcome someone whose work has truly helped India move forward in digital payments. With over 18 plus years of experience, Punit sir is a certified leader in strategy and sales in the fintech sector. He is an expert in card issuance, payment gateways, acquiring, and card switching, and has held significant leadership roles at institutions like Lyra and CMS Infosystems. He currently serves as the Vice President of Business Development at Insolutions Global, focusing on payment switch acquiring and technology services at banks and fintechs. His journey is a story of blending technology, sales strategy, and deep market understanding to drive adoption of digital payments. So, without any further delay, let's welcome Puneet sir. It's a privilege to have you, sir.
Same here. Thank you for the great introduction.
So, sir, before we begin, we would like to know what was the first thought that crossed your mind when you entered the campus today? Nostalgia or a completely new excitement?
I mean, both of it, as far as the podcast is concerned, meeting young friends is concerned. Absolutely nostalgia, but also excitement as far as the topic is concerned. Sharing the insights, industry insights, what goes into, the payments that we use daily, and some corporate lessons I've learned through my journey. So, yeah, equally exciting as well as nostalgia. So, we could call it as, a mix of emotions as far as the podcast and the topic is concerned.
So, when you see students actively shaping their futures here, does it take you back to your own career ambitions? How did you navigate and choose your career path?
So, not that much, interesting answer to this, but when I started my journey, the payment landscape was really not that great. We still used to write checks. We still used to stand in queue in the banks to get our money transferred from A account to B account, A bank to B bank. But during the course of the journey, I graduated as a BCom graduate, and during those days it was only either CA or a MBA or an engineer or a doctor. So
Right.
4 to 5 fields, broad categories, but nothing specific, to any domain. So after completion of my commerce graduation, I went as a customer support executive in a bank, and that was more of a retail interaction with customers. What is a bank balance and things like that. So it became too routine, and then I thought, this is becoming too retail kind of stuff. So let me just change my field and get into something which will excite me daily. Like speaking with some CXO level people out there. Not sitting in the office, meeting people. And then I ventured into a company called FT, Financial Technologies, everyone must be knowing. So there I used to manage the institutional relationships. And from there, the career itself shaped me up as far as the roles, the domains are concerned. And it helped me navigate through the likes and dislikes of a person. But at the end of the day, I always thought that, yes, this is the field where, India could really be at the number one position. So it was more of a go with the flow kind of journey for me.
So, sir, as you have lived through the entire evolution of the Indian payments from early card systems to instant UPIs, so can you please help us simplify this complexity? I mean, in the layman's term, what happens behind the scenes when a customer taps the card or scans the QR code, specifically clarifying the critical roles of card acquiring and switching?
So yeah, interesting question, and I think this is the core of the payments ecosystem. What goes behind the scenes? So it's basically you go to a chai wala and you scan the QR and he receives the payment. So basically what happens is the backside of it on a layman terms, if I could, frame it up is, we say that, okay, my bank, I have purchased a thing. I instruct my bank that give my 20 rupees from my wallet to that guy's wallet. Okay. But the underlying is, there are, so this is a faceless transaction. Your bank is not present there. So there are few checks, like, you have to check whether this bank checks, whether this account holder has the balance to suffice the transfer. He'll check whether, there is a, authorization. An authorization, in this case, is a PIN. So this person has only authorized, whether the recipient account details are properly mapped, so that when I transfer 20 rupees from my account to the recipient's account, it has to go very seamlessly. So this happens on a very real time basis and within milliseconds. So this is how it happens. On the backside of it, the banks are connected, the card schemes are connected. So UPI is basically a RuPay NPCI's product. So they have integrated all the partners over there, and once a partner says that, a bank says that, okay, remit 20 rupees from my account to the recipient's account, all these checks would happen on the back end, and then the recipient will receive the payment. On the card, the journey is a bit different. When you tap a card, basically, you are not pushing the payments, merchant is pulling the payment. So what happens is, when you tap a card, it goes to the bank, who's the issuer bank. There they again see all the checks, whether it's a credit card, debit card, valid card, invalid card. Does this have a balance? If it is a debit card, if not a debit card, then it will check whether, this person has an underwriting of, say, does he have an underwriting of 100 rupee? Can I block 100 rupee? So it's basically saying your bank to authorize or block that card towards that tap for that merchant. And generally the settlement happens on a T+1 basis. T is the day when you actually tap the card, and the next day the merchant receives the payment. So all these things are done by players, companies like where I work, us, who provide this tech solutions to banks. So banks are typically, they concentrate more on opening bank accounts. They are not a fintech expert, so they basically outsource it to companies like us. So yeah.
So, as a leader in the payment technology services, how do you see the role of acquiring banks evolving in India's ecosystem, especially with UPI and third-party apps dominating the transaction volumes?
So when you say acquiring banks, two technical term, for the audience, but acquiring bank is the bank who basically handles the, the transaction, which basically sources the transaction and sends it to the relevant stakeholders. Now, importance, absolutely important, because the role, the compliance mandates, want to have a acquiring bank. Without acquiring bank, nothing is possible. So you need a acquiring bank. But importance is, they are basically the front end layer of the ecosystem, where they are not tech experts, but due to their massive distribution channels, they are able to source customers, source merchants. So they are a big floodgates to, uh, covering the landscape, Indian landscape. So they create leads, they, generate leads, but they don't know, what to do with those leads. So then our expertise come into picture, and then we try to, say that, bank. So you are acquiring bank, you be a bank, you be a distribution partner, you source the merchants, the rest, you everything outsource it to us, so that we can give a cross-selling platform to the banks in order to sell, XYZ, services. So if a merchant accepts, Chai Tapri accepts, Panwala accepts a UPI QR code, basically there's no income there for the bank. But then what happens is, you open several cross selling opportunities for them, like, lending. It could be issuing a card, it could be, financing his auto, a bike or a car and things like that. So acquiring banks, absolutely needed as far as compliance, RBI is concerned. But I think with the tech partnership, it makes more sense for them to get into this business and create some monetize values out of it. So yeah.
So, as you have excelled in sales and business development for over 18 years, what makes the sales cycle and client relationship in the fintech or payment industry unique compared to the traditional product sales?
Interesting. So here basically we call ourselves as B2B to C
Okay.
domain experts. B2B to C, when I say, it's basically we deal with banks, we don't deal with customers like you or individuals like you. We tie up with banks, but ultimately those services will be consumed by the end customer. So what happens is it becomes more B2B to C kind of relationships. When we the unique thing about the payment ecosystem is concerned, we when we go to vis-a-vis the other products or the sales that happens, we don't just say that buy this is a bottle, this is this MRP and purchase it. No, it doesn't happen like that. So basically we'll have to understand the pain point of the end customer who will be using the bank services. So how do I convince him that this service would be beneficial for your end customer in XYZ ways? If they find that the pain point is addressed, then they are very much interested to go for the product, right? The traditional sales which happens, there's a bouquet of flowers, or it could be a camera or something. You go, you sell, you just explain the features and things like that. But here it doesn't work like that. It has to be, we should understand the customer pain points, address them, and then pitch our services or products. So it stands out as far as the sales cycle is concerned. It's not a legacy sales model.
As you have led a sales team across multiple organizations, how do you make sure that your team remains aligned, motivated, and adaptive to the constant technology shifts and the regulatory shifts?
See, of course, that again is an important aspect as far as companies like us are concerned. First, definitely it happens to the regular training modules which are internal to the organization. That is a number one tool to be behest with whatever is happening in the market. It could be regulations, it could be tech and things like that. But secondly, the one important thing which I felt during my journey, 18 plus years, is you need to be out in the market. You can't sit in the office and learn about laws and regulations and things like that. It would be a book knowledge, but not a knowledge which you can implement. That happens only when you go out of the office, meet the stakeholders, meet the regulators, meet the clients. You get fillers from them. Before the regulation coming in. Right. So it's basically your advanced information system that works when you go out in the market, speak with the stakeholders. And third is obviously to keep them motivated is I always say this, the motivation is not the end product. It's basically the process through which you go to achieve the end product. Correct. It's like that. I mean, you can't. It's like a train journey. You book a ticket for X destination, but you always feel that while traveling, I should enjoy. I should, spend time with my relatives, families. That moments make you, motivated to reach that destination. So this is the process which, motivates my team members, and I always try to see that, that covers them. Along with, of course, there are monetary and non-monetary benefits as well, which an employee expects. But if you are, so motivation for me is a subset of two, three things. One is basically keeping them, giving them the freedom to perform. No algorithms attached. I mean, you are there, you are in the ocean, just swim, right? And secondly is basically giving them a opportunity to learn. Not cutting down the hands, of the employees. If they are willing to learn, let them learn. And of course, a part of it is remuneration and the profiling. I mean, whether you would want to grow from grade 1 to 3, that is how you take care of your employees.
So, as you have worked closely with the merchants, how important, according to you, is the merchant education on payment charges, settlement, and security? And what is the biggest challenge when merchant acquiring solutions to market?
So, I mean, so yes, there were challenges 10 years back, not now. In fact, now if I visit a merchant, he'll tell me five things which I don't know. He'll tell me five things which I might not have as a feature. He's well versed about everything. So things have changed drastically. But a decade back, yes, there were issues. What is QR? When will I receive my payment? What will happen to funds? How can I trust you? Because funds comes from my account to their account on the next day. So
Right.
there is an intermediary, like an agent hai ye.
Huh.
So things like this. But now with especially after demonetization and corona, things have become too easy for us. No need to educate merchant. In fact, he is so well educated that he himself will ask me 10 things and ask me to comply, and then only he'll consume my services. So it has become relatively easier now. Yes, but frauds have their own way of operating, so they'll find a loophole in everything. So there are cases of frauds, but we try to educate merchant by giving them a right approach towards how do you refund a transaction, how to handle chargebacks. I mean, how do ensure that the customer a right customer has paid you. There's no duplicacy of data and things like that. That happens via specially curated dashboards and certain apps which we provide to the merchant, where he is able to see the transactions very transparently, and if he feels that there is something amiss or wrong, he can instantly refund or take action then and there. So of course, some knowledge towards it is mandatory for the merchants as well. But now the ecosystem has taken care of that aspect as well.
So, sir, with so many players from banks to large tech companies entering the payments market, what does it take today for a fintech service company to truly stand out and secure the partnerships?
See, to stand out, it has to be very agile to the different market needs. Otherwise, you end up being Nokia's of the world or maybe a Kodak of a world. That is what happened when BlackBerry also came and it vanished. So it is like that. So you'll have to be very agile as far as the ecosystem is concerned, because things are changing daily. From cards, from check transfers, we started NEFT, then it became IMPS, then it became UPI, cards, whatnot. POS machines and things like that. So tap and pay. So
Right.
things are evolving at a much faster rate than the adoption rate. So we need to be very agile as far as the fintech industry is concerned. So yeah.
So, when you have worked with the technology service for banks, how crucial is it for a modern bank to understand and integrate the fintech's agile switching and processing technologies to remain competitive?
Absolutely. So I think coming back to the same topic we discussed, just you know, as far as they are also concerned, they need to understand that their expertise is not selling fintech products. Their expertise is building CASA base, which is current account and savings account base. So they are experts in that. They are not experts in dealing with such products which change every month. It becomes very difficult for them. For them, it is only current account and savings account, and then you monetize those accounts. How do you monetize? Get in touch with the partners like us. Procure the services or the products, which are created by us and the card schemes. So we, along with co-created, along with the card schemes, RBI, and all the stakeholders, which I think for them it becomes very imperative and now it's become a compulsion as well to partner with fintechs like us, because their expertise is their expertise. They're not there where we are, so they don't understand the fintech ecosystem as much we do, which is quite obvious.
Right. So, when you mentor young professionals, what is the one common mistake you see make them in the early in their career and within the sales or fintech? And what approach should they use?
Early mistake, I would say, what happens is generally we tend to follow when we are young, especially applies to you guys. When you are young, you'll always try to, copy what your friends do or some random examples from your relatives and things like that. So you try to follow that and try to, uh, you know, mm, uh, uh, not follow your gut or what you are truly capable of. Maybe it could be a artistic approach, it could be, a business approach and things like that, but you always tend to follow them. So I would suggest that let's not do that. During our days, there was less exposure of internet and things like that, so we actually didn't know what to do. But now, since this the gates are open, the internets of the world, IoT of the world, you have research papers, you have use cases, you have quite a good exposure towards what's happening in the world, what will stay in next 50 years, what will vanish after 50 years. So I would suggest that rather don't rely on your friend's advice, and rather take some advice from a senior who has went through the same uh, journey as yours.
So, sir, now we are moving into a more lighter and more fun segment called the
Sure.
Green Flag and Red Flag Corporate Edition. So, here how it works. I'll be sharing different workplace habits, leadership styles, and corporate trends one by one. So, your task is simply to tell us whether each one is a green flag, something you appreciate,
Sure.
support, or encourage, or a red flag, something which you don't appreciate or feel the work isn't effective or should be avoided in the workplace.
Sure.
So, shall we start?
Start.
Yeah. Standardization of the 5-day work in BFSI.
Yeah, green flag. I think because what happens is during those 9 hours of those 5 days, you are in such a constant pressure of performing, delivering, and things like that. You tend to avoid your family and your relationships.
Right.
And you need a break of, I think now, of 2 days. Earlier, when I started my career, it was purely 6 days. In fact, when I started my career with the customer service, I didn't get a break for a single day for up to 10 days also, because we were rostered. It was a call center. So it was like that. But things are now moving in a right direction. But yeah, I think 2 days work break and again hold your fort from Monday to Friday.
Targets linked to digital adoption, not just traditional sales number.
Yeah, green flag. Because the way things are moving, I certainly assume that if you still follow some traditional approaches towards sales and things like that, you will be in a Nokia type of position. Let's not do that, and try to adopt digital as much as possible, because what we see daily is totally digital. Even this podcast, somewhere sitting in US could watch this. That's because of a digital
Digitalization, right.
digitalization. So yeah.
Uh, Employees learn via gamified fintech simulations and digital sandboxes.
Yeah, green flag. That's true, because what happens is when you gamify certain parameters, it becomes easier for the younger generation to understand things. And sandbox environments also help you to test certain modules, uh, create a proof of concept, POC we call it as, so that before going live or going anywhere in the market, you have this environment where it can be thoroughly tested. Seeing the kind of compliances which are in place by the RBI, it becomes very imperative for an individual or a team to understand and do a sandbox testing kind of thing, and then go out in the market. So yeah, it helps.
Industry certifications being valued more than MBAs.
Red flag. I mean, I don't agree to it. Industry certification, of course, they are helpful. It's not that it's not helpful, but when you get into programs like MBA or whatever things that you are learning, you get to know the perspective from a 360-degree, bird's eye. We call it as bird's eye view,
Right.
right? So it happens. So certification is more of a book knowledge, necessary. But when you go out in the field after you graduate next year and you try to get into some companies or things like that, whatever you have learned here, because this provides a 360 degrees view on each subject. It could be finance, marketing, branding, sales, things like that. So I think this helps more than industry certifications.
Teams using ChatGPT or AI tools for daily tasks.
Yeah, green flag. I mean, I do. Uh, but it has to be incremental usage on your base knowledge. If you just try to chat GPT a basic query question, and then you try to solve a problem, then you are nowhere. But there has to be a base on top of it where you would want to really polish it or use more language models and try to create a project out of it or some insights into it. That is okay. I mean, not for daily basic stuff which you have learned in your college. Otherwise, why to do college? Basically apply chat GPT and start learning. So
Uh, Internal job rotation opportunities every 12 months.
Uh, green flag, but I mean, it depends on the individual as well, right? I mean, if you mandate it, then it becomes difficult. If you keep it open, that voluntary application to it is okay, because you get expert not by changing jobs, right? I mean, you get the expertise only if you spend X number of years on the topics that you learn. So that is okay for initial few years, because students like you who will just try to find their first job, you'll always try to navigate and understand whether this project, this product, this service is really for me. I mean, in 12 months time you'll come to know, you'll gauge the environment, you'll gauge the
Right.
whether I am fit for this role or not, and then if you have an option, nothing like it. So it's a red flag, green flag kind of thing. Yeah.
Leaders hosting AMA, Ask Me Anything, Friday sessions with the employees.
There's definitely a green flag, because that opens up a platform for the other employees, mid senior employees, junior employees, to know what seniors are up to, and they can learn from their own journey, and asking questions to them makes good sense and create a good rapport with them. So it is a green flag.
Unlimited vacation policy, trust employees to manage their own time.
That's a green flag, but when you ask a HR, it will be a red flag. Because what happens is employees tend to misuse such policies as well. So a good example is during Corona, I think all the companies made work from home as a alternative. But during the course of it, many employees were found moonlighting and things like that. So what happens is, even if the company wants to do something, but the misuse is as such that it then creates a question mark for the HR to continue such initiatives or not. So I mean, it's a tough choice.
Leaders sharing memes and reels in official team groups.
That should be fine. I mean, as far as no one is this thing, what we say, uh, no one is feeling insulted.
Inside.
It acts as a icebreaker kind of thing, and it creates a sense of friendship among official teams as well. So in unofficial talks also helps, sharing, but that should be limited.
Yeah. Hybrid office with bean bags, nap pods, and cold brew taps.
Yeah, that's okay. I mean, there are a lot of fintechs. In fact, when you travel to Bangalore, you'll find these, that people are okay with that. The idea is to encourage productivity uh, and create a sense of homely atmosphere at the office. though there's a very thin line between such arrangements, it shouldn't go overboard as far as these arrangements are concerned, because people generally then tend to take it too lightly and try to create a scene out of it or nuisance out of it. So if organization has created such playground, I mean such office, and the aesthetics, make use of it with responsibilities.
Thank you, sir. That was illuminating. Now we come to the 10th and final question.
Sure.
So, sir, as you have successfully navigated complex transitions and dynamic in the fintech sector, demonstrating exceptional sales leadership and technical understanding, what are your final recommendations, advice, or suggestions for student and young professionals who are just starting their journey from college to corporate? Especially those who want to build a long term career in the fintech sales or the business development role.
I mean, the giveaways are basically, you know, be, someone who can be not easily replaceable. If you get into something, try to be someone who can take that extra load and finish the work for the manager. Once you are in that pyramid, then it becomes very difficult for a manager to let you go. And then you monetize it with, extra remuneration and things like that. So be very honest as far as the work profile is concerned. Gain as much knowledge as possible of that domain. You become strong, and then, the universe is yours. Secondly is basically, parallelly try to learn the new age, uh, I would say, the new age innovations are concerned through certifications and learning courses, where you're not left out. I mean, when we started AI, the word itself was, didn't exist. And now it's only AI. So for me also, it becomes very important to learn parallelly. So for you also, maybe 10 years down the line, whatever technologies that you see now would be vanished and something new would come. How do you cope up with that? Because competition is just standing right behind you, to grab your post. So you'll have to be in that position where, you have a thorough knowledge, but yes, parallelly with a lot of learnings, through short courses. It could be 6 months, 3 months, 1 year courses, so that you be abreast with whatever is happening in the world. And I think that's it. I mean, just do what you love, and love what you do.
And to all our listeners, thank you for tuning into Season 4, Episode 3 of College to Corporate, Corporate Insights Unplugged. We hope you find Punit Sir's deep dive into the fintech, card acquiring, and payment switching as insightful as we did. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our podcast. And we will see you next time for more corporate insights. Have a productive week.
Thank you.